Izzy is very fascinating to me. This guy is full-time. That's an expression that my father used to have, but he reserved it for very big compliments. When he was trying to compliment somebody, he'd say they were full-time. But Izzy and I will put Aljo into the same category, have stayed true to themselves. And staying true to yourself is a very good way to stay in the position that you're in, which if you're on top is the hardest position to stay in. But being true to yourself is extremely difficult because you don't know what it was in the first place. Do you guys know how you'd be true to yourself? Do you even know what it means? Do you know what true to yourself means? I don't fully know how I would define it. For myself, I don't really know. But I will tell you, when I went through my mixed martial arts career, and that was just through my competitive career, through wrestling or grappling terms, but through my competitive career, there was a difference in chasing or being chased. There was a difference in trying to make money, trying to get fame, or competing. There was a difference in thinking somebody's trying to take your spot or you're not getting the due that you deserve. There's a difference. There's a difference in the approach. There's a difference in the purpose. There's a difference in the motivation, which is going to be a difference in the training and the preparation. And I'm watching this tall, skinny kickboxer out of New Zealand who allegedly has fights and beats people up and then goes and buys real estate in New Zealand. And I watched him come up with an anger. And there was only one match where he didn't have that anger. And it was against Anderson Silva. It was a respect. It was appreciation. And he made his point, and there wasn't a question. But it was a closer fight than was expected. There was 3 rounds. He won 2 of them, but he lost 1 of them. And I only bring it to you because he never let that nice guy come back. And it was disciplined. And I would tell you, I would be very interested because as I look back at that division, which I've so closely studied, there was 2 consummate professionals as far as being mixed martial artists. Now, if you asked me to define what is a mixed martial artist, I'd have a hard time, but so would you. However, I could tell you I know one when I see it, and so could you. You tell me that same thing. Anderson Silva goes in that category. Israel Adesanya goes in that category. I don't have anybody else in the division's history. I don't have anybody else that was on top that was champion that I look as a consummate mixed martial artist. That's looking at techniques, that's looking at body movements, that's looking from an artistic standpoint. Think of like dance, think of like body movement and motions. Think about rhythm and style and finesse in conjunction with power and conditioning, right? And the reason I say that is it's very hard to get an audience with Anderson Silva. People flock to Anderson and they make the phone calls to his management. They get a hold of Jin Wink or reach out through Ed Soros. And when Anderson has fights, Anderson's a very busy guy. He's got his own boys that he's training. He's got his family, and he's got the fight coming up, and he's got his own training. And I only suggest that because people try to get the audience with Anderson when he's got a fight coming up. I'd like somebody to get an interview with him right now, and I'd like them to not talk to Anderson about Anderson. I'd like them to get Anderson Silva to talk about Adesanya because he knows what he's looking at, and there's no one better to ask. There is no one better to ask. Israel Adesanya, who is world famous and a multi-millionaire. You guys knew his contract, right? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Lost his mind tonight in front of you, and it was real, and it didn't have anything to do with money. And it did not have anything to do with fame. He lost his mind tonight on a poor up-and-comer who does not have a beautiful contract, who is not world known, who is not a face and is not going to go down as an icon of his industry. The big man hit on the little man, and he couldn't control himself. It was real. And it was real because Izzy hasn't let that other stuff in. He hasn't let those distractions in. He's that same hungry guy. And for Izzy, it's still about competition. It's a very interesting mindset that takes an extreme discipline. I have never seen anybody come through this sport who has controlled their career more than Israel Adesanya. Nobody has called their shot, and I do mean nobody. The Diaz's had a lot of power. Conor McGregor had a lot of stroke. Jon Jones knows who to call and when to call. Remember, I could go back and play this game, and it is still nobody like Adesanya. And he called for DDP. And he didn't call for him tonight. He also called for him tonight. He got him tonight. He called for him a long time ago. And it was one of the things that Dana said way back when Dana agreed to make the match with Izzy and Yoel Romero. And for any of you that look at that fight right now, you go, sure, that fight makes a ton of sense. Well, at the time, Yoel had just been in a number one contenders match, and he lost. He lost to Paulo Costa. So it should have been Paulo Costa and Izzy, right? Well, Izzy didn't go after Paulo Costa. He went after Yoel. He said, I want Yoel. And Dana's going, Yoel's a really hard fight. Izzy, you're a tall, skinny kickboxer. He's an Olympic medalist in wrestling from Cuba. This is a terrible idea. Like, it's really hard to tell a guy no when he's asking for something so difficult. And Dana had to try to package that up and tell it to the audience. And it made perfect sense when he did. We're all like, yeah, I guess you're right. But you got to understand, you then go look at Duplessis. Duplessis wasn't ranked high enough to get the fight with Izzy, which is what tonight and the Whitaker fight was about. But it's the same guy. It's the same guy that Izzy called out. Izzy went in front of that mic and he called for the hardest job for himself. He knew what the hardest job was. And now the ranking of Duplessis, who will come Tuesday morning be the number one contender, is right in line with what Izzy said. And that's the competitor. It's never looking for the easy way, looking for the hard way. He takes personal offense to anyone who's trying to take what he sees as his. It was a very interesting discipline that you can't do on that level unless you have certain controls in place. Number one is keeping your circle small. If you let that circle grow as opportunities grow and your name grows and it starts going, forget it. Forget it. It's over. It's over. You wanted to have that look in your eye like Izzy had. You wanted to have that tone. He wasn't selling a fight. He wasn't building a fight. He was picking a fight. And it was very different and it was very real. I've never seen something quite like Israel Adesanya. I really haven't. I really haven't. And there's been some very intelligent guys that have come through, some even on accident, that have done very good things with this sport. But you only have 3 ways to entertain the crowd. You got your walkout, you got the performance, and you got your walk back. That's it. Your post-fight. That's it. And Adesanya finds a way to hit all 3 out of the park. Now he's got Duplessis, which apparently is exactly what he wanted.